Okay. All right then. Everybody ready?
We're getting ready. Okay, here we are.
Okay.
We're not live yet. Sorry.
Okay.
Get me a bottle of
Come
water.
on.
You need a bottle of water? Go ahead.
Let me get me a bottle of water.
Okay.
Filters live. Okay. Okay, we're live on We're live on YouTube.
Okay.
Reverend King just stepped away for a quick second. There he is. He's back.
All
So,
right.
Recording in progress.
So we are
all
now
right.
recording. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. We are excited about tonight. We missed you on last week, Reverend King, and guess what?
Yeah.
Everybody was saying, "What's going on? What happened to the conversation with the candidate? Is Reverend King all right?" So guess what? We can't be taking no breaks like that because people not having it.
That
Right,
shows you
Jack?
how effective and impactful your show is to so many people around the world.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
definitely is.
And
Definitely is.
you are a
And
mighty
when
force.
we're feeling that because we have opposition. And whenever there's opposition, you only have opposition when you're making a difference. So
Yes.
we are feeling that, but we are not giving up.
No.
Absolutely. I think great things happen when opposition or what I call pressure develops.
Uh-huh.
Babies are born through pressure.
Uh-huh.
Butterflies come out of cocoons through pressure. And so
Uh-huh.
I think God is preparing great things to be birthed through the ministry and the effort and energy that you are engaging. And so
Yes.
expect great things coming your way.
All right, all right. Well, I just heard that from, like I told you when we spoke on last time. When every time I think about you, Reverend King, I see these people, these powerhouses, and that's why I know that you are a powerhouse. Because I see Obama, I see Dr. Martin Luther King, I see Malcolm X, I see Jesse Jackson, I see Mandela, I see what's his name I told y'all about? Al Sharpton. Like I see
That's
those
right.
people in you. I really do. You're a powerhouse, and I hope you never forget that because
I'm moving.
you are moving people. Your campaign is moving people, and I can tell you, we hear the things that you don't hear. You have encouraged me to get up and talk about voting even more. But Jackie tagged you and she did something magnificent. You want to tell him about it before he actually take this thing over?
Well, I actually did it and then I deleted it and redid it today. I just was so moved by, you know, the wanting people to understand, especially women, the power that they have been given through the vote. And so I made a PowerPoint presentation about the suffragette movement and three of the main women, Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Sojourner Truth, three of the main women who did that. But one of the main things that I emphasized in that is that from the time of that very first women's convention, Women's Rights Convention, was in 1848 in Seneca Falls, until the time that the 19th Amendment was ratified, it was 71 years. These women continued to fight, and generations of women had to continue to fight. It took them 71 years for the 19th Amendment to be passed. And even then, the fight wasn't over because, as you all know, I don't know if you guys know, but you should know that it was the 13th Amendment that freed the slaves, right?
Yeah.
And it was the 15th Amendment that gave the slaves the right to vote. But were they given those rights? No. That was, I mean, if you look at movies, the movie The Help
Yes.
and the movie Hidden Figures are both based on the same time. 1960, 1961. So even in 1960 and 1961, not just Black women, but women were still marginalized. And until women are no longer marginalized, they will never be able to have the power to affect change. And so I made that PowerPoint, and I posted it on my channel, and I tagged it to you, Reverend King, so you can look at it.
Oh, excellent. I look forward to reading that.
It's not much. I didn't put a lot of effort into it, but I felt it in my heart that I had to do something.
Yes.
And that's what I did. So.
And I was sharing with Jackie that you are moving more people, Reverend King, than you know. You really are. I hear people. I literally hear people say it, that this is, he gotta win. He gotta win this. But we gotta do our part to help you, because you've been doing so much. And I'm gonna say this, and then we need to let you take over, because the people want to hear from you, and we realize that, and we respect that.
This is good. This is good.
We really respect you, not just as a candidate, but as a man of God. And you are stepping out here, and you know, you don't have to toot your horn, because you don't. You just do the work. But people are having multiple conversations about you. My 12-year-old daughter, I don't know why my thing is doing this again. Talking about upgrade. But I don't know. It's the devil is just busy, and I just can't let him get away with that.
No, we're gonna remain resilient. We're gonna remain resilient.
Yeah, we are. And if we go down, we just gonna come back up, because we're not gonna let him have his
That's
way.
right.
That's what we gonna do.
We'll use that.
But you, my 12-year-old daughter say, Grandma, I like him. He gonna win, right? I say yes, but we got to get in there and help him. Yeah,
absolutely.
We got to get in there and help him.
We are absolutely. We are better together. And let me say good evening to you and the Electra James Inspirational Talk Show, Jacqueline, and thank you so much, Electra James, for inviting me again on Monday. Yes, we missed you on last Monday, Labor Day. We had grown accustomed to seeing your lovely faces, listening to your outstanding conversation, and being a part of your constructive dialogue. And you are certainly benefiting people around the world. Thank you for what you're doing and your commitment to remain relevant in this society in this day and time.
Yes.
And so we are better together. We have gone through 3 reconstruction and going into our 4th reconstruction. In 1619, slaves came into Jamestown, Virginia, by way of Africa, the coast of Africa, brought across on slave ships and sold in 1619, Jamestown, Virginia. In 1776, slaves participated in the freedom of America in that particular campaign. In 1861-62, slaves participated in what is known as the Civil War, Second Reconstruction. And then in 1964, 65, African Americans who were descendants of slaves participated in the 3rd Reconstruction. We call it the Civil Rights Movement. Now here we are in 2022, and we're facing another reconstruction. When will it end? When will it stop? When can we all be Americans? When can we all be from different places on the globe, of different nationalities, ethnicities, and say, I respect you as a woman, I respect you as a man, I respect you as a person. I realize out of one blood we were all created. We have different pigmentation of skin colors, but beneath our skin colors, we all share unique things that are kind of common. That we can have blood transfusion, we can even have transplants as a result of such. They don't ask what nationality are you. They just say, we need a heart, we need a lung, we need a kidney, etc. And so where we are in our 4th era of Reconstruction, and we've not yet come together. That's why my campaign is restoring democracy in Galveston County. Someone asked a question on my Facebook the other day, when has Galveston County lost democracy? And I was surprised that they had to ask the question. Just recently, the county judge brought us into what is called redistricting after a census. 2020, every 10 years, our country goes through what is called a census. As a result, you identify where growth is taking place within your county, within your state, within your nation, and you adjust accordingly. You give seats to the Congress in the United States, Congress. You give seats to the Senate or to the House of Representatives in your state government. And you also create precincts, or you create different lines within your precinct based upon its growth. So Galveston County, 10 years ago in 2010 census, hired or contracted with a company for the census of redistricting. And that company was challenged along with the county because of its redistricting lines and how they drew the lines in a very gerrymandering kind of way, where you actually cut out particular people from participating in the voting process effectively, so that they can have taxation and then representation, so that their vote will count. But if you're unfair, if you lack integrity, if you lack honesty, then you'll be biased in how you draw the line, and you'll draw the line for your party rather than for the people who live within your county. Yes. And so it's important to know that we're having to go through the same process we went through in 2010 in 2022, because the same company was contracted to redraw the same lines in which we lost the Supreme Court coverage for the Voting Rights Act. And you would wonder why is all this effort, all this energy, all this pressure being provided towards voting. Why? If voting isn't so important, if voting isn't so great, then why try to build a fence too tall? Why try to create so many restrictions too great for people to participate in the electoral process? You would want it to be done because it is the greatest civic activity that humanity can participate in collectively in order to bring a change in your society. And so as a result, the same company was contracted, same gerrymandering. As a result, we lost the protection from the Department of Justice because of the Supreme Court action. And now the citizens had to call for the Department of Justice to say, we need help in Galveston County. The DOJ took the case, and now Galveston County is under a court action because of their behavior that's led by the county judge. And so we're in the fourth era of Reconstruction. So we've lost our democracy in being able to do things the proper way. That's what democracy is all about. And even the question is that we can put people in the governor's mansion and people in a Secretary of State's office, put people in the mayor's office in leadership positions, so that in the event we want to control who goes in office, we can do that. That means you cease to become a democracy and you become an autocracy. You control, you have power. So I believe in democracy. I believe every vote counts. I believe citizens ought to have the right to vote, to exercise their gift to vote. And so I think it's so important that we know our function as the Galveston County Judge candidate on the November 8th ballot is to restore democracy, to get back to the business of servicing people and not the party, taking care of the needs and services of citizens and not a particular entity, to make sure the people needs are being addressed and taken care of by the commissioners and the county judge at the commissioner levels court. And so I'm grateful to be on your program.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for all of that.
And we are grateful.
Yes.
You know,
yes, we are.
Reverend, a thought that came to my mind while you were speaking is, and I don't want to put anybody off by this. A lot of people don't like religious talks when we're talking about politics, but I know that when you stand before God in that final judgment day, He is not going to ask you if you were a Democrat or a Republican.
Not at all.
He is going to ask you if you served mankind well.
Yes. What does the Lord require you to do? Justly, to do fairly with people, to treat people with respect, to do unto others you have them do unto you. And that's all our natural moral laws that we were taught as children growing up. To be respectful, to be mannerable, to be obedient, to treat people like you want to be treated. And so when you have people who matriculate their way into powerful positions and don't have the right heart or have the right mind to do the right thing, then that's why democracy is so important, because all you have to do is go to the ballot box and vote them out and vote someone in that has the mind to do the right thing. Woo.
Yes. Ooh, that, like you said, a mouthful there.
I was talking to a friend of mine about voting, because you have inspired all of us to reach out and talk to everybody about voting. And I told her, I said, are you aware that in just one county, in fact, I didn't tell her which county, in just one county here in Texas, 70,000 people did not vote.
Yes.
70,000 people
Yes.
did not vote. 70,000 people threw away their rights. And we have to make a decision. Are we going to continue throwing away our rights? No, we're not. Electra, why is your meeting time telling us that your meeting time is almost up? I'm going to, I don't know what's going on, but it's going to drop us for just a second, Reverend King, in about a minute. But Electra's going to get us right back in. She's going to go right back in and send new invites. So just consider it a breather break.
It says less than
We
1
already
minute.
fixed this problem, but apparently
Because we're talking about something
so
powerful that even the clock says it's time to end.
That's right. So this is going to cut us off in just a minute. But Electra is going to resend new invites, and we'll be right back in. So just consider this a bathroom break.
So I should go back to my email.
Yes.
Yes, you can go back to your email, and Electra's going to send you a new invite.
Thank you.
So we're going to be out probably in about 45 seconds. Sorry about that. I thought we had this.
Let me say this in those 45 seconds. That Martin Luther King says the people in the South can't vote and the people in the North have nothing for which to vote. And so when you look at those 70,000 people that did not vote, maybe they fell in one of those categories. But the reality is that every time there is an election, you have a right, a reason, and a response.
Okay, there we go. Here. I'm gonna go restart another.
So what we're going to need to do, Electra, is not tonight, but maybe tomorrow evening or Wednesday evening, get together on Zoom and have you do the chat with the Zoom people, because this is an error. This should not be happening. I can't hear you. I'm not hearing you.
It's making me it's making me pay again. I gotta pay. I got to upgrade it. They're making me upgrade Zoom. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
They want me to
so
pay
we'll do
more
that.
money. Okay, so
Okay.
we gotta start recording. Do I have to go back to
start
OBS?
the recording.
They gotta go back to OBS.
You don't. I don't think OBS stops. Just Zoom.
Okay.
So let me check it and see.
Okay, because we gonna record.
Sorry, Paul. Let me see. Let me see. You're still live. You're still live.
Okay.
Recording in progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, here we
You
go.
don't have to redo OBS.
Here we go. Keep going now. Catch us up where you stopped off, Reverend King.
Sure. Jacqueline was talking about the 70,000 undervotes in the last midterm election, and how 70,000 people could have turned the outcome of the election to a totally different state. And so those people, I wanted to say that Martin Luther King indicated to us, the people who lived in the South could not vote, and the people who lived in the North had nothing for which to vote. And so I say to people that we have a right, a reason, and a responsibility to always vote, because your vote counts. Your vote is your voice. The outcome of all the things that impact your day-to-day experiences, your day-to-day lifestyle, is in your local election. And that's the power of the vote, that you can determine who sits on your school board trustees. You can determine who sits on your city council. You can determine who sits on your college board of trustees. You can determine who sits on your water district. You can determine who makes the decision as to how much your water taxes are going to be for your water, taxes are going to be for your city, taxes are going to be for your college. You can determine most of the local things that you experience. What type of business will be built on the main thoroughfare going into your subdivision? What type of development can take place? What type of curfew do your children have to comply to? All is done within your local elections. And so your day-to-day experiences, as far as your taxes is concerned, as far as ordinances is concerned, as far as statutes is concerned for your city, the speed limits on your city streets, putting road bumps in neighborhoods to make sure people aren't speeding through neighborhoods. All that's done through your local elections. You have every right, you have every reason and every responsibility to engage in that voting process to make sure your voice is heard to what you want to experience from your day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month living in your local vicinity. And so voting is extremely important. You have a reason to vote. You have a right to vote. You have a responsibility to vote to make a difference in your society. And I encourage everyone, this is a very critical election that we're facing in our midterm. What's happening in our federal government on a national level, what's happening in our state government, what's happening in our local government is very, very critical. I've already seen the actions, the hand exposed even through the federal level, what's coming down the pipe and what's proposed to be in our future. That's going to truly impact us in our latter years, but mainly impact our children and our children's children in the coming years. And so you must put people in office that thinks like you, that has your mind, that's willing to do the right thing. Listen, I'm speaking to my moderate Republicans. I'm speaking to my moderate independents. I'm speaking to my Democrats. I'm saying to you, you have to stand up, because there is a sect of our society that is trying to move this country backwards rather than forward. That's trying to hold us suppressed rather than be liberated and free. So we must rise up in mass numbers. I know we voted in historical numbers during the presidential election of President Biden and Donald Trump, but we must engage the electoral process in this midterm to put people in Congress to make sure we get some legislation passed. Like what? Like voting, like John R. Lewis Voting Rights Act. Those protections we need in every state of the union, every area of our country where people, brown and black, live, and even white people live that may not be of a certain party. You need those protections to make sure your vote is not suppressed, oppressed, or depressed. We see what's happening in our society. The handwriting is on the wall. We have got to wake up and get to the polls and vote like our lives depend on it. I'm not trying to stir fear. I am not a fear campaigner. I'm just trying to state the facts and the truth of where we are and let you know what's coming down the road if we don't turn the tide in this midterm election.
That is so important, every bit that you have just said. And you know something else? I know you're going to get to it because we talked about earlier about people who have been incarcerated. Because you did a live on Saturday, but some people might have missed it. But myself and Jackie have been going to our Facebook pages and telling people, encouraging them to watch for your lives in the truck. I'm telling you. Reverend King, you powerful now. You powerful.
Thank you so much, Mr. Electra James. You're so beautiful. Thank you so much. I want to share with you, listening audience, if you've been incarcerated, if you've been in prison, if you committed a felony and you were incarcerated, if you have served your time and you have been released from incarceration, you have been released from the jail after serving your time as a felon, and you're on probation, and you're serving your time. And on September the 1st, 1997, The state legislators in Austin allowed individuals on parole or probation to finish their time to participate in the electoral process.
All right.
All you have to do is receive your documentation from the judge or your probation officer that you have served your time. You may be on probation, right? You may be on parole, but you have served your time and now you've been released. You can participate in the voting process. If you are incarcerated, speeding ticket, any misdemeanor, but you're incarcerated, you're waiting your court date, and the election is taking place October 24th through November 4th, and then the election date is November 8th. You can vote from the county jail where you're incarcerated. You've not been convicted, you're pending your court date. So I just said two things. One, if you've been convicted as a felon, you've been in prison serving your time, you've been in the county jail serving your time, you have completed your 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever the case might be, you've served your time, you've been released from your times to serve, and now you're on parole or probation. Your parole or probation officer can get you the form that allows you to vote in the November 8th election. You, sir, you, ma'am, do not have to believe the hype that you're a felon and you've lost your right to vote. As a felon in incarceration, no, you cannot vote. But once you have served your time, I want to be clear, once you have completed your time, you can exercise your right to vote. So all you have to do is make sure the court is aware that you want to vote. It will give you the documentation that you need so that you, sir, you, ma'am, can vote in the November 8th election. You can cast your ballot for the person that fulfills your vision for your society, and you can participate in the electoral process. If you got a speeding ticket and you were speeding 100 miles an hour and they put you in jail, you're still in jail, and you want to vote, you can vote. Okay. Early voting starts October the 24th, goes through November the 4th. Okay. Election date is November the 8th. Okay. You can get a mail-in ballot. You can get a mail-in ballot if you so desire. You can also register to vote up until October the 11th. You can register to vote up to October the 11th. October the 11th is the last day to register to vote. October the 28th is the last day to request a mail-in ballot. And so we want to make sure you have a clear information, and you can go to my website and make sure you have all the pertinent information. I want to say to my brothers and my sisters, men and women, you are a citizen of the United States. You are a registered voter of the United States, but you have a felony, you've been in jail, you've been incarcerated, you've completed your time, you're on parole or probation, and you want to vote, you, sir, you, ma'am, are eligible to return to the ballot box. All you need is your documentation. Your court, your JP, whoever your court is, probation officer is, parole officer is, they can get the form for you to be able to vote in the November 8th election. Thank you so much for giving me the time, space, and place to share that pertinent and very important information.
Yes. Another thing that we were talking about was your signage. The cost, or you happen to have extra costs, or you just have signs that you're just replacing? Because I know that some of your signs were destroyed.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to have to share this with you on the show, but it's sad that we live in such a political environment that one sect of people that disagree with another candidate's platform would go to the place, the position to have to create vandalism, to have to do anything to negatively destroy another candidate's property. Mm-hmm. And campaign signs, it's illegal to damage, to remove without authorization another opponent's campaign signage. And so, yes, I've had poles taken out from signs to collapse as a result of not having the poles and the zip ties to hold it to the poles. That zip ties cut. And so that happens. This has happened before. It's not something new experience. Unfortunately, we had people to spray paint, to tag my campaign signs, to pull poles out from my large campaign signs, to cut the zip ties from my campaign signs, or to totally remove the sign and the poles. Now, I've had some cities to remove some poles, and I've retrieved them from the city that did take the sign up. But the unfortunate thing about it is there are still candidates that they indicate my sign was out of compliance, but there are still candidates with signs in the same city that are out of compliance, but the signs are still there. So I'll let you figure that out.
Yeah. Jackie.
It's
Yeah.
I see you over there. What you trying to say?
I am trying to say I just want to slap people upside the head. I mean, what purpose is it serving you personally to vandalize or to misrepresent somebody, for example, saying his signs are out of compliance when there's a sign 3 inches away that you say is not.
Exactly.
So I feel like, and maybe that's not the politically correct thing to say or to do, but I want to just go like this and say, when it comes down to you and your rights are being infringed upon, remember, you stood in the way of getting somebody in office who would be dedicated to your county.
Yes. Be the champion and the advocate for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And here, listen to this, Ms. Electra and Jacqueline, that this particular person, and I won't mention the name of the city, indicated when I called him to the carpet concerning these candidate signs, and was certainly, clearly, obviously in the wrong locations. And I said, why are they still there? And they indicated, well, my boss man haven't given me the permission to remove those signs. Oh, so your boss man told you to move my signs, to leave the other candidate signs in place. I'm not gonna tell you what that smells like.
Oh, I know what. Well, I'm gonna say what it smells like because I ain't running for nothing. It smells like racism to me. I think that's what they just cooked up on us.
Heck does.
They cooked that meal and want us to eat it, knowing good well that's what. No, that's not pork chop. That's not chicken. That's racism. And we need to learn how to call this stuff out and start sitting back acting like it's not happening. In 2022, you still running around here with so much hate in your heart that you don't even want people to have the rights that you celebrating, that you are exercising. You don't want the women to have the rights. You don't want just people individual. I speak of women because I'm a woman, but it's just so much going to be impacted by it. And Reverend King, you are that voice. And like you said earlier, you don't want to bring it on this podcast. You bring what you want to this podcast because here's the thing. You are so transparent. And that's what people like. Am I right, Jackie? Jackie? Amen.
Yeah, and you know what I have called people on the carpet before, and I've said to them, you are a racist. And they said, no, I'm not. No, I have many Black friends. I have many Hispanic friends. No, I'm not a racist. I said, okay, you're not a racist. Then tell me, how come you told me that you have to lock your doors of your car if you see a Black person crossing the street?
Oh my God.
You tell me why. Now, I lock my doors to my car all the time. I mean, they're always locked.
Mine is automatically locked.
Yeah. So my front door is always locked. But if you specifically are someone who drives around and the minute you see a Black person, you lock the doors on your car, you are a racist. Call it what it is. Don't talk about and okay. When Hitler did what he did to the Jewish population, there were a whole lot of Germans who said, oh, the Jews, oh, we have to be scared of them. But not my maid. My maid Sophie's great. She's not like that. So they would think that if if it was their employee or their coworker that they worked closely with, they would say, "Oh, he's okay." Like there's something special about him because you're rubbed off on him or something. No, that's by doing that, you are saying I am racist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I understand. I realize that once upon a time, I was faced with my own racism.
Yeah.
I worked at a small dress shop, and whenever people of a certain ethnicity, I'll just say it with Romanians, whenever they would come in the door, I would immediately eagle eye them, shut the cash register, make sure it was, because I had caught that several of them from that community shoplifting. But this one girl came up to me and said something, and I mean, I didn't tell her that day, but I realized that I was suspicious of her for no reason.
Yes.
He didn't do anything. I had to come face to face with my own racism because it can sneak up on you. There was nothing that she did, and yet I had decided to be a certain way about every person in her nationality.
Yeah.
I'm not that way anymore because I have had to face my racism. So if you can't face your own racism and figure out why you got stuck there, then you need to have somebody knock some sense into you.
Absolutely.
Take a step back and realize that person is breathing air just like you are.
And
that person eats and sleeps and works
just like
and has a family just like you do. And if you cannot, if you categorize an entire people by a certain one experience that you've had, then you are a racist.
Yeah.
And you need to come to terms with that. And you need to come to terms with your God about that. Because, trust me, God is not a racist.
Yeah.
No, he isn't. He loves.
I want to put this disclaimer out there, too, after Jackie had said that, what came to mind, and then flip it back over to you, Reverend King. Like you were saying that, sure. I want to put this disclaimer out there. You are not the one who is calling this out. That's not what you were doing.
No.
I pushed it out there because,
sure.
As a constituent, I want people to know that's not, you didn't promote that, that conversation. I promoted that myself and Jackie as host and co-host of this show, that
sure.
Because we know as your constituents that this is an issue that's surrounding you, and because what is happening to you is happening to you in the manner that is happening, we see it. Because let's be honest, there's some black people that's racist. Come on, like it's on every side.
Right.
But I just want viewers to know, no, Reverend King is not the one that's bringing this up. It's us, because we have the concern. And not just that, Reverend King, anybody that's watching this video is saying that's what it is, but they're thanking you for not being the one to initiate that. That's us. I
take responsibility for what I've said. If you want to send some nasty comments my way, go ahead.
Yeah.
I take responsibility for everything I've said, and I will not take it back just because you don't like it.
Exactly.
So,
no.
Absolutely. And that's why my campaign, William H. King III for Galveston County Judge, is restoring democracy in Galveston County by bringing people together, bridging the divide that has been created through one of the functions of racism, through one of the functions of being prejudice and biases, but bringing people together because we are better together. Yes, a triple braided cord is much stronger than a single cord. And so I realized the importance of how to bring people together. You're looking at a person who served 30 years as a pastor of the Greater New Orleans Missionary Baptist Church. 30 years of working in the community with different people from different backgrounds, from different socioeconomic backgrounds, from different educational levels. So you're looking at somebody who has learned how to work with people, learn how to listen, learn how to lead, learn how to help bring a consensus through collaboration. You're looking at somebody who's worked 27 years as a chaplain for the Dickinson Police Department, one of the first organizing chaplains, now the chief chaplain for the Dickinson Police Department. someone who knows how to work with law enforcement, work with city department leaders, work with officers and their families, chief of police, detectives, captains, people in command staff position, jailers, dispatchers, work with people who are incarcerated, who's in the jail. Someone who knows how to work with people. Looking at somebody who served 21 years as a city councilman in the city of Dickinson, twice as a mayor pro tem. Someone who knows how to legislate through the city council, knows how to balance budget for cities, knows how to lower taxes, knows how to build a city hall, a library, a water district, knows how to build a fire station, knows how to create leadership areas so make citizens have a better quality of life. Someone who worked on the board of HGAC for 8 years, was vice chair, chair-elect, and chairman of the board. Someone who's brought millions upon hundreds of millions of dollars to our region of our 13 county area. Someone who knows how to bring millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars to the Dickinson city so that Dickinson could do greater work for its residents through streets and drainage, through flood mitigation projects, through methods of distribution, CDBG, community development block grants, to help provide a better, greater, stronger, more vital quality of life environment for all of our citizens. Someone who knows how to bring jobs and businesses to a particular community. Why is jobs important? Because part of my plan is economic development, sustainability. Why is that important? Because whenever you bring high-paying jobs to your community, you attract families, you attract employees. What do? You create sales tax, you create ad valorem tax, you create jobs that lower property taxes. Because the higher your businesses paying taxes, then the less amount of taxes the citizens have to pay through their own property taxes. It's a win-win situation because I have a plan for Galveston County. I have a vision for Galveston County. And I realize right now we don't have a vision. There is no clear direction for the next 4 years for Galveston County. But with William H. King III, you will have a vision. You will know what direction we're going because I will be transparent and I will be accountable and in my leadership for Galveston County. I will be collaborating as I did with one of the superintendents of our school districts. I have a meeting with them on this coming Wednesday. I've met with most of our superintendents because I'll be collaborating to make sure our children are in the safest environment in the event of a disaster or something that's natural or man-made would take place, God forbid. We will be prepared. You will have somebody that's going to be proactive in making sure we are moving towards a better society. That's why I say better days are ahead, because whenever you're reactive, then you coming in behind a disaster. But when you're proactive, you're prepared before it happens so that you're able to effectively and efficiently exercise the movement of excellence to save lives and to make people's lives saved as a result of your leadership. And so I will work with other cities in our Galveston County, mayors, council members, work with engineers who we deal with flood mitigation resiliency, to make sure we're prepared before. Listen, I will face hurricane force winds before the hurricane. And so we will be prepared, making sure we have things in place, plans and policies in place in the event that something of that nature comes our way. We won't wait wondering what to do. We will have a plan and policy in place in order to implement for it to be done. You will be focusing on not only flood mitigation, sustainability, but economic development, sustainability and flood mitigation, resiliency, but accountability and transparency and leadership. You deserve a county judge who looks out for the best interest of the citizens of the county. So we'll be making sure we address flooding issues in Galveston County with mayors, doing interlocal agreements, utilizing the muscle and the might we have in Galveston County through our roads and bridges, through our parks and development program, through our various agencies, to make sure the citizens have what they need before the storm comes in, so that we are not working reactively, but we're working proactively, strategically, aggressively, to make sure we have the best in position for the best people that we can offer this service to. That's the citizens of Galveston County. And so we'll be having accountability and transparency. We'll be collaborating with leaders around the county. We'll be collaborating with county leaders. We'll be collaborating with superintendents of schools and presidents of charter schools, those who are leading the schools, make sure everyone stays safe in the place of Galveston County. That Galveston County will be a lasting place. That our young people will have a place where they can come to work after graduating from college. They'll have a place where they can live after graduating from a college and getting a job. They have a place where they can enjoy the recreational amenities, because we will bring businesses, we'll bring jobs, we'll bring those type of programs that our young people will be looking for, where they can work, play, and stay in Galveston County. You have a county judge with a vision. You deserve a county judge that gives you accountability and transparency. That's going to do the right thing at the next census, so that all people will have taxation with representation. Every person deserves a vote. Every vote should count for every person. And so therefore you have a county judge that brings that leadership. You won't have a county judge that will use his position for the party, but for the people. One that won't take resources from Galveston County and take it to the border in order to use a false claim of keeping diseases and sicknesses out of Galveston County, or keeping crime out of Galveston County, when the reality is there's so much death by gun violence in Texas City and Lamar region. We will bring a collaborative team together. We'll bring leaders together to talk to these young people, to help resolve their conflict of issues, to help resolve their issues. And then if that doesn't work, to use law enforcement where necessary to help bring greater strength of presence, to say, we don't have to take this route. You don't have to make this decision. We can't force you not to, but we're letting you know, if you do make this decision, if you do cross this line, we're going to be here to put you into a place you might not want to be for the next 5, 10, 15 years. So we'll use initiatives and programs in place, so you can use those same dollars. You can use those same dollars with the right leadership. Listen, I'm not saying that the other party don't have good ideas. They just don't have them in the proper perspective. They've not put the proper energy and effort behind them, or they need proper calibrating. That's what I'm simply saying. You have somebody that will work with people of all parties, people of all classes of life, to say, let's reason together. Let's talk about the best practices that we can use in Galveston County to save our children, to save our boys and our girls, to save our children, to get them on the right path, the right track. Listen, I was a child one day myself. I know how easy it is to get into juvenile mischievous things, but I had neighbors who cared about us. I had deacons in the church who cared about us. I had women in the church who cared about us. I had school teachers who cared about us, and they would get us on the right track. They had a paddle with holes in it. That's back when they had corporal punishment in the schools. And then so we had people who came into our community to work with us. And that's all I'm simply saying. We are better together. You've heard of the cliche, it takes a village to raise a child. And all I'm simply saying is, you just can't throw jail as your only option for our young people. Jail is not the only option. There are other things we can put in place. Communities in schools, ACE program. There's all type of programs we can help to fund to make sure our children have the resources they need to stay on track, to stay on course, to do well in school, and to be the successful person they were created to be. And so that's what I'm simply saying. As a county judge, you have a person that will bring accountability and transparency and leadership, a person that would work with the superintendents of schools, a person who will work with the charter schools, private schools, to make sure our children have what they need. I know the county judge has no business worrying about schools. That's not my worry. It's my concern. And if it's not in your heart, it's just not in your heart. It's in my heart. But if I have the ability to help to make a better society, then that's my job as a county judge, to create a better society. My God, that's what I will do as your next Galveston County judge. I will bring accountability and transparency and leadership. I'll help to lower the taxes. I'll help bring jobs to our community. I'll make sure our young people have a place where they can work, play, and stay. I'll bring flood mitigation resiliency. I'll have accountability and transparency in leadership. I have economic development sustainability as your next Galveston County judge, and you will be a part of it. You will be abreast with it. You will stay apprised of it, because I will be collaborative, open to having dialogue back and forth to make sure we do the best thing for society. We will make Galveston County the best county in the state of Texas, a lasting difference in Galveston County. My name is William H. King III. I want you to go to kingforcountyjudge.com right now to say, I want to be a part of that vision. I want to be a part of that vision. I want to be a part of that Galveston County. I want to be a part of that future right now. kingforcountyjudge.com. Go there today. Let me know. Make sure you check while you're there. You're registered to vote. If you're not registered to vote, make sure you scroll down to voting and you register. It takes you right to the link so you can register to vote today. Today. Woo! Today.
Well, we getting close to the end, and y'all do that today.
So, that's right.
Let's go.
That was good. I tell you, you got to say something the next week. Hey, Jackie, they say they missed us. Well, they got it tonight, didn't they?
They got it tonight, baby. They got it tonight. We ready to
Got
go.
it tonight. Yep.
Well, we gonna be wrapping it up, but Jackie, I've already said everything I had to say. You can say
Can I
whatever.
say one more thing then?
No, but you gonna
Yes.
close us out, Reverend King.
I want to make sure. I want to make sure I'm clear and concise. That I'm going to be the county judge for Galveston County. You live within Galveston County. I'll be your county judge. If you want to move to Galveston County because you see the leadership in Galveston County, come on, we'll take you. We got 17 cities in Galveston County. We got a tropical paradise here in Galveston County. Anywhere you want to live in Galveston County. You would live near sea level if you want to. You can come up 15 feet above sea level up in Dickinson, Lamarck, Lake City area, Friendswood area, and then live as well. Wherever you want to live, you can put your house on the foundation. You can put your house in stilts in Galveston County. You can have a beachfront like the house. But I want to say to our first responders, we just went through 9/11. Our hearts go out to the families who are still hurting from the loss of their loved one during 9/11. The hundreds of lives that were lost, thousands of lives that was lost during 9/11. And certainly the first responders is what I'm speaking to. Hundreds of lives that were lost, the first responders. Those men and women, law enforcement, those men and women, firefighters, those men and women, EMS, that ran into those burning infernos that were on fire just to save the lives of people. I want to say to our veterans who went in to help wherever they could help. Though they were dispatched, they left their jobs and they went to help. The hundreds and thousands, millions of people around the country who went to donate blood. As we paused on yesterday to reflect, to recall, to remember the sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice of men and women on 9/11. Pause to say thank you to their families, to their survivors, their loved ones' lives. I want to say to our first responders who work every day, men and women, young men and women, many of who are serving right now on patrol, many right now at a fire station, who are waiting on the next 911 call, house on fire, 911 call, auto fatality, accident, major accident. I want to say thank you for your service. Thank you. You are in Galveston County. You will have a county judge that won't forget you. They won't forget the sacrifice you make on a daily basis to go to protect and to serve our citizens of Galveston County. Whether you work for as a deputy for the sheriff's department, a constable in a precinct, whether you work for a municipal police department, whether you work for volunteer firefighters, you will not be forgotten by County Judge William H. King III. I'll make sure I attend your meetings, your monthly meetings. I'll make sure I know and abreast and use my office and my influence to make sure I get from the federal government, from the state government, the resources you need to better serve and utilize the equipment you need to work on the jobs that you have to work on in a fire, in an accident, where you have to use the jaws of life to open somebody's vehicle up to get a young child out of a back seat. To get a person who's trapped between the dashboard and the front seat. I respect your job. I respect your position. You first responders, you law enforcement officers, you EMS, you paramedics, you veterans. We will not forget the sacrifice you made to serve our country, to serve our nation, to go overseas during time of war in Afghanistan and Iraq. I won't forget you. We'll make sure we take care of you in a proper type of veterans court, that you get the resources that you deserve. You have what you need to live in this nation, the land of the free, the home of the brave. America.
Thank you so
America.
much. Thank you, America.
We're going to serve you. We're going to take care of you as your next Galveston County Judge. William H. King III, your first responders county judge.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
You closed us out tonight. That was beautiful closing. You closed us out. Jackie, you got anything to say?
No, I think I talked about everything I had to talk about tonight.
But that's okay. We got next Monday. Next
Monday. I'm looking forward to same time, same place.
Same bad time, same bad place.
You remember that? You remember that?
Those of us, we remember that. We know what you're.
She's dating herself now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there we go. Well, I'll see you guys next Monday, if not
Love
sooner.
you all. Take care. Thank you so much for listening. KingForCountyJudge.com. Go there today and let me know you watched the program.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
What a great time. What a great time.
So good.
What a great time. What a great time. I loved it.
All right. right.
We got into some conversation tonight, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And we had a great conversation tonight.
Yes.
I got to go back and watch that myself.
I know that right. I know that